Hey guys, welcome back. Hope you guys enjoyed parts 1 and 2 that got uploaded of the Bruder 9620RX conversion. This will be the final video. We're going to go over getting LEDs in it and just kind of the cleanup on the tractor and getting it all put together and kind of finalizing things. So we're going to first start with LEDs. I've been looking around. I don't think I really want to add LEDs to the rear of it. The light holders just aren't that open to it. So we're going to load out the hood and the cab. So on the cab, actually I will mention, I picked up another pick set from my local auto parts store, and oh my goodness, a good variety of picks is amazing for taking apart these Bruders. I had always just pulled them apart with small screwdrivers and whatever I could find on my desk. One of the last videos you saw me use like tweezers. And so picks made this cab come apart very easily. So got the interior taken out, got the top separated from like the glass portion of it, got the top taken off, and now we can see basically this middle black and gray piece. I've already messed with one of the beacons. Each one of the times you see this little gray fake headlight is where we're going to add an LED to it. So we got 3 along the front, we got 3 along the back, and then I did pop out these lenses that were in here. It kind of looks like there was kind of 3 along here as well. I'm not going to worry anything about the side, but I'm going to put 3 in the front on each side. So we're going to have 6 in the front, 12 on the cab. We're going to have 18 LEDs on this total. I'm using a small, I believe this is a 3mm. You know, let me just measure it with a micrometer. I got them off of eBay. I'll leave a link and I'll add that to the material list in part 1, so if you check back in there, I bought a package of 20 LEDs for like $9 with free shipping. So 3mm LEDs, it's pre-wired with the resistor in it, so that makes wiring pretty easy. I got a package of 20 white ones, and then also got a package of blinking yellow ones. And so my plan here, this you might remember, I did this on my the Bruder D11. On the Bruder D11, I just had a big package of these large single flashing white LEDs that these just kind of pop off. Let me grab my needle nose. These just kind of snap out. And what I did was I cut out the inside of this. So using X-Acto knife and some small flush cuts, I clipped out, make that a little hard to see, that inside portion of the LED. Put a dab of hot glue in it, and then shove this one LED in there. It's okay. It's not great. If you want to front for the $10 for like the strobes, those are neat. The only problem with those strobes is they're really big. I think they're just kind of out of scale for the tractor, where these caps are well. So what I did was I got 2 3mm flashing red LEDs, and like I said, again, same price as the first, so a pack of 20 of them is like $9 on eBay. And here I got my power supply set up. Let me just kind of show you what they look like. Certainly not as good as one of the strobes. You know, the strobe is definitely better, I will admit. But as I do that, you see these flashing, and they don't always flash at the perfect sequence. So if you stick 2 of them up in there, it kind of gives that strobe look. Every now and again they'll flash at the same time, but a lot of times they'll be alternating, so it kind of gives you a little bit better quality. And again, for $9 for 20 of them, I can use 4 of them on this, so I'll have plenty for my next conversions and for a number of projects. So I'm going to put 4 blinking LEDs in there, 18 solid white LEDs, and this thing's going to be lit up. Now for mounting the LEDs, what I normally do, these are 3mm, so I've got a an 1/8 inch drill bit, and if you drill a 1/8 inch hole in something, 1/8 inch and 3mm is very close. So you can stick the LED in from the back, and it just kind of barely pokes out. There's a little bit of a lip on these LEDs, and it's a little hard to see. But there's a little bit of lip on there so you can poke it through, and I usually put a dab of hot glue on the back so that it won't fall out. And then as we do the wire management, soldering stuff together, I'll put super glue on the inside here to keep all the wires coming together. I'll terminate them to one single lead, and then we'll put a connector so when you take the hood off, you know this hood doesn't have to be wired to the tractor. You can pull it out, unplug the lights, and the hood can come off. And we'll do the same thing with the cab. I'll bring all the wires down, put them on a plug, so when you plug the cab wires in, put that on. So if you need to take the cab off to work on the tractor, it can come off easy enough. So let's start the mounting process. So all I'm going to do is just drill an 1/8" hole in each one of these lenses. I'll then probably have to pop this out to feed all the wires through, but my hope is we can have enough room. There's some room on the back side of here that I should be able to string the wires out through that. So let's just try one. So I will drill a hole right here in the middle. You know, I'm holding my hand in a very poor spot. If it were to go through, I do need to get a sharper bit. I've worn this one out. You know, I'm just going to pop this out. Grab one of my new picks. And with that popped out, yeah, okay, so there's a little bit of a backer on here. So I'll need to trim those off. Ooh, I broke that one off. Trimmed it too close. So I'll probably need to glue that back in when I get inside there. As I'm doing this, I foresee all these coming off. So we'll probably end up drilling some holes and gluing them in. So we'll see here. Because if I were just to stick LEDs in there, I don't think it'll look right. I think you kind of need that gray in there as well to kind of help with the look of it. So on this one, I'm going to take a knife and clean this up. And I'll clean each of these holes up as I do them with an X-Acto knife. And then I can kind of poke that through and you see the LED coming through the back. So let's just kind of put this back in just to see how it looks. And if I like it, I'll then go through and do the rest of them. My LED fell out. Put a little bit of bend on there. So that's kind of the look you got. Obviously the LED kind of has that gray background still, and we'll fit these in here. So I'm gonna fast forward at this point, and you don't need to do this in real time. Alright, so had some successes and some failures. I got the all the lights put in, what will be the top of the cab. Let me power it up here so you guys can see it. So got this would be the front, so I got 3 LEDs on the right side, 3 LEDs on the left side, 6 LEDs total for the headlights. I put 2 of the blinking LEDs in the strobe, so you kind of get that strobe effect. And then we got 3 across the back left, 3 across the back right. So total we have 3, 6, 9, 12, 14, 16 LEDs in this top. My wiring job, I give it about a C-. Not very happy with it. As I got a group of LEDs, I'd solder them together and then take leads on around and brought them all into one spot and then gave them 1 leads that'll go down to plug into the battery. They all work. It's all pretty secure, but the roof don't fit. So flip that around. So very limited space up there for that, and I really wasn't thinking about this cap. I was thinking it went over the whole thing. So I've got to redo this. So what my plan is I'm actually going to cut this gray out. So now that the LEDs are mounted in those gray pieces for the headlights, I'm going to snip that off, glue the gray parts in this housing so the LEDs stick out, and then all this wire can basically sit down where this gray bracket is. Where all the wires come on this one side, I will have to trim out of the top of the cab these here. On one side they can stay in there because there's no wires there, but the other side where all the wires come together, I'll have to ground this out and make room for those wires. So off camera, I'm going to cut all that gray stuff out, cut those out, get this fitting right, and I'll show it to you before we package this whole thing up. I also, off camera, drilled holes into what would be the front of the hoods, fitting 3 LEDs on the left, 3 LEDs on the right. And then these I went ahead and wired together just so it has a couple single leads, and then I'll pop each one of those in and put some hot glue to hold this in here. I like hot glue for holding wires. You can put the wire you want it, put a dab of hot glue in there, and that will hold it. So I'm going to do that now. Alright, so those are all glued down in. I'm going to kind of hold them down in place because the battery's going to be coming right up in here, so I don't want them interfering with the battery a whole lot. So kind of push all them down. Glue's holding them in. You can see all the LEDs sticking out the front. And while I'm holding that in, wait for the glue to dry, I can pop these clear lenses back on, then we'll turn the lights on and take a look at it, see how it looks. If you hadn't noticed, I have a small little power supply. Got a couple leads down here. It has settings from 3 volts up to 12 volts. I can adjust, makes it nice for testing stuff. Don't want to hook up a battery. So the lights look good. I really like the way they turned out. They kind of got them lined up and spaced out with these little circles on the lenses, so it's like individual headlights. So pretty happy with that. I'll finish gluing that down and we'll put a connector on so we can plug it into the tractor, and we'll come back when we finish the top of the cab. Okay, so I got the all the lights redone. I will say I should have done it this way the first time. I just cut the little gray lenses off of that backing. So much more room to put the wires through there, so everything fits well. It would have gone a whole lot faster and easier the first time if I would just went that route. So now when I put this on the cap, I'll need to clean up some of my hot glue I used to do that. That snaps together. Nice fit all the way around there. Let me get that snapped. And this all fits really well. Got a little bit of push up right there. What I might do is just put a little dab of super glue, not a whole lot, so if I have to take it apart, I can get it back apart and just squeeze down. I also, actually when I clip it onto the cab, it might snap together, pull together well, because these green clips will go onto the cab and that'll smash it all. So I'm not going to worry about that a whole lot right now. The idea with the wires is I'm going to fit this on here, and I will drill a hole, and actually I'll use like a small straw or something to kind of hide this, and it'll kind of look like a post coming down on the inside, kind of in this back corner. So I'm going to figure out where this hole needs to be. It needs to be just to the left, right in there. So I'm going to get the drill out, and we'll drill a pilot hole. I now need to go to a little bit bigger size, so we'll just kind of keep stepping up a little bit. There we go. Make sure that looks fairly close. That's flipped around. So I'm actually going to use my Milwaukee tool. Okay, and we'll put that down there. And now let's see how well, or not well, that goes together. Snap one. Snap two. And yeah, that's pulling that together pretty good. That one partially snapped. Let's take a little screwdriver and help it along. My wires are smashing a little bit. I tell you what, I'm gonna open that up a little more. This pick set I bought, oh man, it makes this so much easier. And especially there's multiples in there. So let's see, that one's not snapped yet. So I can start to pull that apart a little bit, and then I can use this pick over here. Pull that apart a little bit. And now use this pick right down there. Okay. Oh, that one kind of went back together. Alright, so the issue I had was this wire was smashing against this plastic because this really needs to come in from the side. So I'm going to remedy that. Oh, got away from me. Okay. That should give that enough room to let that wire not prevent this cab from closing. So let's try that again. And snap one, snap two, snap three, and snap four. Alright, and now that's held down. There's a little bit of a gap right there. I'm not worried about that. You won't hardly notice that. So, and a little squeeze there, a little squeeze there. Again, if I do this again, well, actually not if, when I do this again, which will be soon, it'll be a lot easier. So now all my lights work. Got the blinking strobes up on top. They're kind of blinking and flashing, so I like it. And like I said, I'm gonna get a straw or something to kind of I'm actually kind of thinking a black coffee stir should fit those very well. Put it up in there. I will need to drill a hole in my floor kind of here on this A-post, let it come down. It'll just kind of look like a black bar up in there. So you can see I started to paint some of the little accessories on here. I now get to drill out or grind out for the drive shaft and the drop box. I'll probably touch up the things a little bit more here and there. So let me get this cut out, and we'll hopefully get this cab finished up here pretty shortly. All right, that's the first cut made. First cut, I'm assuming, of many. Let's bring the tractor in. You see I have a little splitting in the housings here. That motor's just a little tight. I'm not worried about that though. So that got to be wider back here. There, snip there. Okay, and so that's, the channel's got to be a little wider. I'm actually going to use the Milwaukee for this. Looking pretty good there. Gotta make this a little wider here. Dusty. And I know I got to take this clip out because that drop box is going right there. So let's go ahead and we'll go and grind this out as well. All right. So now these still have to fit in those holes. So it looks like these corners right there are catching. Okay, I think we're down. I think that's all fitting all right. Yeah, that's lining up good. So, didn't have to take a whole lot out. We will need to take the bottom of this out, and then I'll glue that back onto place. So let's go ahead and do that. So if that's right there and there, I'm going to glue all this together, and we'll chop that out. Gonna make a mark. So grab the handy dandy Sharpie. And we'll make a mark on this back side. There and there. Put that back on. Okay. So, let that catch. I need to be more careful, I'm going to lose a finger. Okay. So, my already messy workplace even more messy. So now, that fits back down in there. That still, oh, I need to trim that up just a little bit. I tell you what, I need to trim this over a little more to give itself just a little more room. I think I'll use the razor blade knife for that, because razor blade is nice that it'll clean it up as well. Nice clean edge. That up while I'm at it. Okay, so that fits very well there. Except I'm not over far enough. So let's trim that up. Okay, quick little trim up with the razor blade knife. And that's actually angling over that drive shaft a little bit, so I need to angle that just a little bit. Okay, let's try that. Ooh, there we go. So I will glue that back down, and then the seat, that will have to get cut out of there. So the front part of this and the back of that will have to get cut out. but that's going to go pretty well. So I'll get that and glue that back together and put this cab back in and show you the results. Okay, so I've got the steering column being glued in there right now. That all fits well. So while that's drying, I was going to go over. Went to the local hobby shop today. Found a 2S 2000 milliamp hour 7.2 volt LiPo battery. It fits. It works. It fits right down in here pretty well. So I think what I'm going to do is I'll probably try to find maybe just glue a little bracket or maybe 3D print a little bracket and then put a little strap to hold this battery in here. I was really hoping for something just a little bigger. That's 2000 milliamp hour. And I was hoping to go for somewhere, oh, just look, I can't even see that. I was really hoping to go for about something 3000 milliamp hour. I have just a little bit more width here. So, you know, if I found one that's a third wider, that would work. I'm going to continue looking on that, but as of right now, that's what I found. So that, and then I wanted to 3D print some panels to put in here to kind of cover some of that differential stuff. However, I just had some tape here, taping that on. I will, here, let me just put a piece of tape on here to kind of hold that battery in place. So, like I said, this is a Venom 2S or 2-cell 2000 milliamp hour. I'll try to find a link for it on Amazon and put it in the description of video 1. But like I said, I found that at my local hobby shop. Try to support your local hobby shops. That ought to be your first place to go when looking for stuff. I know not everyone has a local hobby shop, so it's not always an option. So, but if I click that hood on there, that now fits down. That tape's kind of getting in the way. Hood fits, hood closes, and actually when you look down there, because we painted that differential green, you don't see that motor a whole lot. So I don't know. I'm torn if I actually make a panel to put in there or not. So we'll see. This, like I said, this is a work in progress. So then I will put a connector coming out here. Pop this back off. I'll put a connector coming out that this will plug into for the wiring for the lights on the hood. And then I got to figure out where I think I'll come out the side here, you know, make a hole kind of come out the side so that can plug into the lights down there by the receiver. So this will squeeze together, that goes down in there. And because the next thing to do is put this cab, start to put this cab back together. Almost wonder if I'm missing a piece here. I have to look through my stuff to see if I got some more cab parts I'm missing. But with that set, now this can fit down in there. That gets back in place. Yes, you see the drive shaft. No, I'm not too worried about it. I would need to get some Bruder figures. This is not a Bruder, this is a Tamiya figure. But it fits. Feet still go over the drive shaft, so I'm pretty happy with that. Again, pretty happy with the way that's all turned out. And I'm not going to snap the cab on that quite yet, because there's still some more stuff I want to do. But let me get, what am I catching on? Oh, over there. Oh, I got some wires in the way. But with that and the hoods, we're making good progress. So there's just a few little things cleanup to do after that, but we're getting there. So moving on. It's getting a little late tonight, so I'll probably finish this video out tomorrow. Okay. All right, let's wrap this thing up. After debating, thinking about it, I decided not to print anything in to cover up this motor. The hood covers up the vast majority of the motor, and all you really see is the differential. And because it's painted green, we're just going to leave that open. I'm getting kind of lazy, I guess. For the battery, I make these little straps for like the Tamiya Grand Haulers and King Haulers to secure loads down. So I decide to use some of that and just kind of pull it tight. When you want to loosen up, you can pull that loose to get that out. The hood, generally speaking, keeps the battery in place. And so this is just to kind of help keep it in there while you're putting the hood in place. So that will do that. I went ahead and made a drop that's just plugged into the receiver with a wire coming out here to power the lights on the hood and one here to power the lights on the cab. I've got the, I decided, if you can kind of be a little hard to see through the glare, I decided to route the cables, kind of super glued them along the top and then super glued them in the corner. Let me open this door up here. Around that front where like the front A post is. So I got them in there, and then I drilled out kind of a small tab and got a connector on here. These connectors, I actually just bought off of Amazon a whole pack of miscellaneous connectors for like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, and 2. They've got the male and female ends and the pins and contacts. So that's just kind of handy when you want to put stuff together. What I do, once I get the contacts crimped onto the wire, I'll usually solder them, but then I'll put some hot glue on there, sort of like a strain relief. So if you pull on this wire, it's not going to pull the wire out. So I got that in there, and then same thing with on the hoods, put one of those leads on there and siliconed that to have like a small little strain relief on there. Got the wires pretty well siliconed into place, kind of pushed that out of the way. So I'm going to hook this connector up. So I'll plug that in there, and then we'll put this hood on. And so let's fit that down in there. That slides down, it closes. You know, you really don't see anything. You see that little yellow strap a little bit. If you're really worried about that, you could 3D print some type of cage in there that the battery slides in. I'm not too worried about it. Then on this rear housing, I do have that ground out so it to fit the drive shaft, and then I shave that some down to clear the differential. So we'll snap this into place. So snap, 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 snap. Alright, so that's pretty well seated back there. And now the last thing to do is to put the cab on. So I will hook this lead up. And this will probably be the hardest one, getting that wire fed down there while we're putting that cab on, because this cab needs to come down from the top. So let me turn this around so you can kind of see what we're dealing with here. So I'll kind of get that pushed under there. There we go. So I'll slide that down, and I do have to make sure this connector goes back and not underneath the cab, because if it goes underneath the cab, it's going to prevent it from going in. So let me see if I can see that from this corner. It looks like it went down that time. So it appears that it's out of the way. If it doesn't snap in, I know it's in the, actually I can feel it. I can feel it hitting. So I'm going to have to pull this up a little bit. And this is where I have these picks come in handy. Knocking my solder over. So I got this long pick. I will use it to shove it back. There we go. Oh, I don't think I got it all the way. I need to get me a little mini flashlight. I wonder if I'm just not lined up, because it's not wanting to go down. Let's pull this up for a second. Let's see what I'm hitting on. Oh, yeah, that connector's not getting in there. looks like it's in there. Just trying to see what I'm catching on. Because it's definitely, I can feel it's definitely at this front corner. I really just don't think it's getting back in there. Well, the back is snapping into place, but the front is not. And it could be that this housing separated a little bit. So I'm going to take this hood off for a second. There it was. That was that housing just needed pushed together a little bit more. Get the hood back on. There we go. So now we are officially back together. If you remember from the earlier video, I installed a switch on the left side. So now we see lights along the front, on the hood. We got the flashing LEDs. And I'll turn the receiver on here. And we have left and right control, forward, and reverse. I've just been really happy with the way this has turned out. I could really just crawl over everything on here. So, take a look on the channel. You'll see this in upcoming videos. You know, just driving it around. I do some challenges with my son. We'll get this out and do something. We might have a pull-off between the Bruder D11 and the John Deere 9620 RX. So, thank you guys for watching. If you like this, you know, like and share the video. You know, tell a friend about it. We'll be doing some more Bruder conversions. So, if you like the conversions, just let me know. You can let me know by giving a like. If I'm doing it bad, give it a dislike or leave a comment on what things you would do differently, or you know, how would you do it different? What have you done differently? So, thank you very much for watching, and you guys have a good evening.